Venezuela. Right now I have a flag pulled up. The yellow stands for wealth, the blue courage, and the red independence from Spain. The stars represent the 7 signatories to the Venezuelan Declaration of Independence. These include Caracas, Venezuela,
Bogotá, Colombia, Quito, Ecuador, Lima, Peru,
Camaña, Venezuela, Barcelona, Venezuela, Farina, Venezuela, Margarita, Venezuela, Merida, Venezuela, and Trujillo, Venezuela. Venezuela is a tropical nation right above the equator, bordering Colombia, Guyana, Brazil, and the Caribbean Sea. The capital of the nation is Caracas and is home to 31,570,000 people. Venezuela. Venezuela is a federal republic. Right now they've been run by a socialist president by the name of President Maduro. Its currency is the Bolivar. $1 is equivalent to 248,508.95 Bolivar due to high inflation of it being a socialist republic. Major industries include petroleum, steel, fishing, but you can take away fishing and steel and replace it with petroleum and petroleum, as Venezuela is a mainly petroleum-based country. Its trading partners include the United States, who are attempting not to trade with Venezuela anymore due to it being socialist, China, who is trying to pursue heavily into getting some good trade deals with Southern America, and India. Venezuela. Venezuelans are very prideful of their nation. They admire their flag as well as celebrating their year 4 times each year. They have high family values. Human stability depends on their family. Social networks are formed and extended family work to keep their own afloat, which is nepotism. Nepotism is often practiced in Venezuelan culture. Venezuela. Venezuela has a dispersed number of ethnicities. Ethnicities include Spanish, Italian, Portuguese, Arab, German, African, as well as the natives. 40 languages are spoken within the nation, including Wayu, Wareo, Pierreo, Yanomami, and Kalina, as well as Spanish, of course. If you did not hear anything that I pronounced, I'm pretty sure I did not pronounce it right as well. It should be on the screen now. Venezuela. Religions are dominant within the nation, as 90% of the nation is Roman Catholic. Venezuela. Venezuelan cuisine is heavily influenced by the diversity that the nation opposes. Some dishes are tajadas, which is a dish of fried plantains or bananas that are sliced long. Arepa, a type of food of ground corn dough or cooked flour prominent, often eaten daily. Asado negro, which is ground beef. It takes a while for it to cook.
2 hours later.
and mandoca, which is a deep-fried cornmeal ring that is usually eaten with butter and cheese while still hot. Venezuela.
Stop it. Get some help.
Venezuela dances. Some traditional Venezuelan dances are merengue, which is a dance that originated from enslaved laborers working in sugar beet fields. The polka, the hurrupo, and ballet hispanico. Venezuela. Two major Venezuelan attractions are the Canama National Park, which contains flat-top mountains, grassy savannas, and the Angel Falls. The Angel Falls is the largest uninterrupted fall at 3,112 feet. Venezuela. There are famous people who came from Venezuela. These include professional basketball player Grievous Vasquez, 1979 Miss Venezuela and Miss Universe, Maritza Cialera, and El Libertador, Simon Bolivar. You may have thought he was from Bolivia, as his last name is Bolivar, but you are sadly mistaken. He is the man who liberated Venezuela, Colombia, Ecuador, Peru, and Panama. Venezuela. As times go on, folklore is often created. Here are two folklores / myths that are in.
La Sayona. This is a legend from Venezuela. And pretty much La Sayona, what it does is she pretty much hunts men that are cheaters. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna start reading what I found. There was once a beautiful woman named Melissa. One day, while bathing in a local river, a man approached her and told her that her husband was having an affair with her own mother. In a fit of rage, Melissa burned down her home as her husband and child slept within. She then grabbed a machete and hacked her mother to death. As she lay dying, the mother placed a curse on Melissa, transforming her in La Sayona, a spirit who kills unfaithful men. La Sayona will appear as a beautiful and seductive woman who tempts married men, often by getting them to follow her into the forest. Once alone, La Sayona transforms into her true form and mutilates her victims. In modern times, La Sayona will appear as a hitchhiker or a woman who needs a ride. The concerned men who stop to help her are in fact her would-be victims. La Sayona is a smoker and may ask for a cigarette. She also appears to enjoy toying with her prey. Whether she leads them to a forest or asks them for a ride, the victims of La Sayona all meet the same painful doom. Today I'm bringing you guys the legend of El Silbón, which translates to English the Whistler. And this story that I'm bringing to you guys is a creepypasta or a short legend which happens in Los Llanos or the plains of Colombia and Venezuela. There was once a boy who lived happily with his mother, father, and grandfather. There was once a boy in Los Llanos, a region of Venezuela. They lived a simple life of farming. However, this boy was a very spoiled child. He will not eat certain food and will cry out until his parents will give him what he wanted. One day, the boy asked his father to hunt a deer for them to eat, which was his favorite meal. The father decided to please his son and hunt a deer for him to eat. Sadly, after hours of searching, he failed to return with anything. Ever so hungry, upon seeing that his father had returned empty-handed, he took his father's knife and killed him with it. At the moment, the mother and grandfather rushed inside, only to find the boy standing over his father's corpse. As the mother cried for the husband, the grandfather took it upon himself and punished him. First, he tied the boy to a tree, and with a whip, he struck his back repeatedly until he bled. Then he will only squeeze lemons on his back, and finally gave him a sack. The sack was filled with his father's remaining bones. He cast him away into the llanos to carry them as he set the dogs after him. But before he unleashed the dogs, as the boy walked away, his grandfather cursed him and said, "Eso no se le hace a tu padre. Maldito eres pa toda la vida," which translates, "You should not have done that to your father. You'll be cursed for the rest of your life." His grandfather yelled as he released the ropes and freed the dogs. As the dogs chased him, the boy whistled in a very distinctive manner. Pretty creepy, isn't it? The whistling continued until the dogs finally caught up to him.
Venezuela. If you're happy and you know it, ready for current events. If you're happy and you know it, you're ready for current events. If you're happy and you're ready, if you're happy and you're ready, let's get to current events. Venezuelan banks are now accepting cryptocurrency. Petro. Get it? Petro. Oil. Petro. Woo! Yeah. They basically created this because it's getting so bad with inflation and such in Venezuela that many of these companies are now using American cryptocurrency just to get by. And Venezuela said, why don't we create our own cryptocurrency? Maybe that'll make us some money. Say they hope that this will help them get out of their crisis. Another thing that is going on is Brazil is planning on using JITs to better supply the needs of Venezuelan citizens from the crisis. Last but not least, Venezuela is planning on raising the price of petrol to combat the hyperinflation that has occurred. This has been the Venezuela Project. My name is Andrew King, Andres Ray, and I am signing out. Peace. Venezuela.